Here we have our beginner's yoga, short 12-13 minute session, something you can do every day. And we're starting off in child's pose, just letting the mind relax and settle. Blocks under the bum, if it won't go anywhere near the heels, and just breathing slowly in and out. You can stay here for as long or as little as you want to, depending how comfortable it is for you. If you're new to yoga, it may not feel comfortable, so just start off with small bouts of time. And then just doing some wrist stretches. So we use the hands a lot in yoga. So I'm just reversing the hands, which can be a really uncomfortable stretch. So only do what feels good, or don't hold it for very long. If you can't get the hands facing right back towards the knees, just have them slightly out to the side. And then out to the side. Just shifting the weight from hand to hand, just breathing slowly in, slowly out. And then this is like a really horrible one. So backs of the hands onto the mat, bending the elbows if you can't get them straight. And again, just feeling the stretch coming into the back of the hand, using your breath. So in yoga, the more you use your breath, the easier it is to get into those tough stretches. And again, only staying in that stretch for as long as you comfortably can at this point. Shaking out the hands. And then some wrist rotations, backs of the hands facing, rotating around one way and then the other way. Coming into cat-cow. So we start at the tailbone and we dip the back down, melting the chest forward and the belly forward and look up. Breathing in, breathing out, we round the back, look down towards the belly button. And we tuck the tailbone. And you can work through this 3 or 4 times. And imagine each vertebrae is an individual piece, because it is. But just imagine it, visualize it. Trying to get a little bit more movement and mobility through the spine. Tucking the tailbone, looking down towards the navel. And then up again, drawing the shoulder blades together. Slowly, slowly. Finding those tight spots. And then into thread the needle. So we stretch the left arm up and through. And on the last one, you're going to hold it there. And if your head isn't comfortable, or won't easily come down to the mat, just pop it on a pillow or a cushion. And if you want to, you can stretch the back leg out, but try and think about taking the hips back to the back of the mat and just breathe slowly in and out. Maybe 3 breaths, maybe 5 breaths, depending on how long you want to stay in this pose. Same on the other side. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, and then hold it for 3 or 5 breaths. Legs wherever you want them to be, but drawing those hips back towards the back of the mat to create a little bit of space through the torso. Great stretch for the upper back. Back onto all fours, and we're pressing up into downward facing dog. So hips go high towards the ceiling. Bend the knees if the backs of your legs are tight. And just working one heel down to the floor and then the other. Pressing strongly into the floor with your hands. And keep breathing. You stay there for 3 breaths. And then step forward with the left leg into a low lunge. And I'm padding out the knee here. If you want to do that, if your knee's not comfortable on the floor, you can do. Tuck the tailbone under so you feel a stretch down the front of that back thigh, and you can stretch the arms up overhead as you breathe in and out. But if you're a bit wobbly, you can use some blocks or anything that you can hold on to allow you to stay in that stretch and breathe for a few breaths. Getting a stretch through the front of the hip, and then a little gentle rotation if you're comfortable and you're not wobbly. you can just rotate, which is a nice nourishing stretch for the spine. I'm going to step back into plank position. So squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the bum, press the shoulders up to the ceiling. You don't have to stay here long, but I do encourage all my students to try and, even if it's just for a second or two, stay in plank pose just to build some strength. Then come in onto all fours, shifting down into cobra. Taking the hands nice and wide to just free up the shoulders a little bit. And then melt the chest forward, squeeze the shoulder blades back, chin slightly tucked, and breathe. 3 breaths here. Pressing back up strongly with the arms. Onto all fours. And then coming forward with the other leg into a low lunge. Again, tucking that tailbone down to feel a stretch through the front of the left hip here. And then a gentle rotation. Try and relax the shoulders and use your out breath to relax them a little bit more. Plank again. See if you can hold it. Squeezing the inner thighs, squeezing the bottom, pressing the shoulders up to the ceiling and breathing. And then back down to all fours. Little rest in child's pose. And in any yoga class, you can rest in child's pose at any point that you feel your body wants to. So always just listen to your body. Back into down dog. Hips pressing up towards the ceiling. Tightening up those thighs and breathing. Sighing the breath out. Walking to the front of the mat. And rolling up through the spine into mountain pose or Tadasana. Shifting your weight forward and back. Finding your center. And then just letting the hands and the shoulders come alongside the hips. Breathing in and out here. And we're coming into chair pose, Utkatasana. Bottom goes right back into an imaginary chair. Breathing here, pressing the outer edges of the feet outwards so you fire up the bum muscles. And then folding forward into Uttanasana. And it doesn't matter if your hands are nowhere near the floor, just let it hang with a nice bent knee, pressing the hips upwards towards the ceiling. This will, as you practice yoga more, you will find that you gain more mobility in this pose and it becomes less uncomfortable. And then roll back up. Breath in and out here. And we're working on the feet. So I'm just lifting up the big toes, replacing them, lifting up the other toes, replacing them, just to mobilize the feet. And then we're stretching up on heels off the floor, just to work into the calves and ankles. Bit of balance. So the standing leg, the bum is working hard, the thighs working hard. Focus your gaze on something and breathe. But the standing leg is doing a lot of work there. So we're building strength. Bottom working, thigh, lower abdominals, just breathing and relaxing the shoulders. Few second hold on each leg. Softening down into Uttanasana again, forward fold, and then stepping back into a plank, and see if you can hold the plank for a second or two. If you can't, just bring the knees onto the floor. Breathing in and breathing out. Softening forward into cobra, melting the legs back, taking the arms wide, maybe shaking the shoulders from side to side, softening the lower back by moving the hips gently side to side. And then we're coming into Salabhasana or locust pose by squeezing the shoulder blades together, dropping the tailbone down, firing up the bum muscles slightly, and you can lift the heels off the floor, or the toes off the floor rather, as well, but only if there's no pinching in the lower back. And then a simple seated twist, so lengthen the spine, breath in, breath out as you rotate to the side. Keep the length in the spine and just gently rotate from side to side. You can repeat that one if you want to. Onto the bottom for a gentle core exercise, boat pose. So toes on the floor if you want to, or you can lift them up. Try and keep some length in the spine. Just keep breathing. So your focus is on the lower abdominals there. And then melting down into bridge pose, tipping the lower back onto the floor, using the bottom muscles to come up, and then slowly back down from the shoulder blades down. So we're mobilizing the spine here with the breath in and with the breath out. And if you want to hold it in that position for a bit of strength, imagine the outer feet are pushing outwards. You should feel a firing up of the bum muscles. Gentle stretch of the lower back as you bring the knees into the chest. Little rock if you want to from side to side. And then bringing that left knee over to the right side, stretching the left arm out to the side, looking down the left arm, breath in, breath out. Great stretch for the hip. Same on the other side. Right knee comes over to the left, right arm out to the side. Look down the right arm if it's comfortable. And then some windscreen wipering of the legs. This is bringing the knees in towards the midline of the body, which is a good stretch for the outside of the hip and a nice mobility exercise for the hip. So using your breath here. And then knees together, stretching the lower back. Breath in, breath out. And then full body stretch. Big breath in as you stretch to both ends of the room. Breath out, hands come back alongside for the best bit of yoga, Shavasana. So this is where we close our eyes. We let all the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons relax. We slow the breath down. Breath in, breath slowly out. And if you want to pause the video here and stay in it for a bit longer, you can. Softening the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet, the jaw, the inner eye, the outer eye, the forehead. And just blowing away any thoughts, softening all of your muscles. And then when you're ready, bring your knees up, start to wriggle the fingers, the toes. Roll to the side with your eyes closed. And whenever you're ready, press yourself up. Keep the eyes closed for a little longer into a comfortable seated position. Lengthening the spine. Big breath in, big breath out. Hands together at the base of your chest. Namaste. And thank you for practicing with me today. I hope this is the start of a regular practice. And this is something that you can probably fit in a few times a week. See ya.